You have two connections. You have two connections, so it would be good if you.
No, I will take it off.
It's echoing. Okay.
Now it's better, yes?
Yes, yeah, there's no echo now.
Recording in progress.
Oh no, there is echo from somewhere else.
Echo, oh, okay.
So you have to close the speaker of one of your connections.
Okay.
Or it might be Siva. Siva has got.
А вот твой телефон не мешает здесь? Now it's normal?
Yes, yeah, I think it was Siva's computer.
Good evening, Interfaith. Before, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to really foster unity and interfaith discussion. And, we're very blessed tonight that we're bridging between Australia and Russia, Sydney and Moscow. So that's a very special thing of creating unity. But before we begin the meeting properly, in Australia, we have a custom to recognise that Australia is an ancient land, and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have lived here for tens of thousands of years as custodians of the land and the water and the sky, the animals and all the people who are on the land. So we want to give deep acknowledgement and respect to their wonderful custodianship of the land and their faithfulness to following their spiritual calling and to take care of the land and take care of the people. So I am on Gamaragal country. Each of us may be on different countries, but we honour all of the elders and we honour their commitments and pay our deepest respects to past leaders, past elders and current elders and the future ones, that true spiritual custodianship will continue always. So thank you very much. So as I said earlier, we are bridging between Australia and Moscow tonight, so it's a very special night. But we will begin with some wonderful music that Ahmad has found for us to help set the spiritual framework. But tonight is one of always cultivating mutual respect and the unity of humankind. So we come together in that spirit. So thank you, Ahmad.
Okay. I've organized a video prayer chant first, and we have 9 readings after that, and then a closing video. So if everybody is ready, so and the opening prayer is called All Humanity, a Baha'i prayer for mankind, which was revealed by Abdul Baha, and it starts with Thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Sorry, I'm going to stop it because the thing has moved a bit from the.
O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household. In thy holy presence, they're all thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have gathered together at thy table of bounty, and all are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, conferrest life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with talents and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all. Let the religions agree, and make the nations one, so that they may see each other as one family, and the whole earth as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise a
Ivo, can you admit people? Because when I admit, the video stops.
off the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes through the light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, who overlooketh the shortcomings of all mankind.
Joy comes from God, who could live and could breathe. If the joy of bright man fill not the universe, for from joy all beings have come, by joy they all live, and unto joy they all return. Hinduism. Where there is the infinite, there is joy. There is no joy in the finite, only in the infinite there is joy. Know the nature of the infinite. Hinduism. Health is the supreme possession. Contentment is the supreme wealth. A trustworthy friend is a supreme relation. Nirvana is the supreme happiness. Buddhism.
The happiness and greatness, the rank and station, the pleasure and peace of an individual have never consisted in his personal wealth, but rather in his excellent character, his high resolve, the breadth of his learning, and his ability to solve difficult problems. Happy is the soul that shall forget his own good, and like the chosen ones of God, vie with his fellows in service to the good of all. Is any larger bounty conceivable than this, that an individual, looking within himself, should find that by the confirming grace of God, he has become the cause of peace and well-being, of happiness and advantage to his fellow men? No, by the one true God, there is no greater bliss, no more complete delight. Abdul Baha, The Secret of Divine Civilization.
I have set the Lord always before me, because he is
Do you want me to read it instead?
okay. I can't see. Okay. He's-
Okay. I'll read it for you if you like.
Okay, no, it's okay. I have set the Lord always before me, because he's at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore, my heart is glad, and my glory rejoice. My flesh also shall rest in hope. Thou wilt shew me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Judaism, the Old Testament Psalm. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. Christianity, Jesus Christ, the New Testament, John.
O lovers of his beauty, turn the anguish of your separation from him into the joy of an everlasting reunion, and let the sweetness of his presence dissolve the blissness of your remoteness from his court. Hear me, ye mortal birds, in the rose garden of changeless splendor of flower had begun to bloom, compared to which every other flower is not a thorn. And before the brightness of those glory, the very essence of beauty must pale and wither. Arise, therefore, and with the whole enthusiasm of your heart, with all the eagerness of your souls, the full favor of your will, and the concentrated efforts of your souls, the full favor of your entire being, strive to attain the paradise of his presence, and endeavor to inhale the fragrance of the incorruptible flower, to breathe the sweet savor of holiness, and to obtain a portion of this perfume of celestial glory. Strip yourselves of every earthly affection, and hasten to embrace your beloved, In the open radiance of his glory, he standeth before you. His voice summoned all the holy and sanctified beings to come and be united with him. Happy is he that turneth thereunto. Well is it with him that had attained and gazed on the light of so wondrous a countenance. Gleanings from the writings of Baha'u'llah.
Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous rewards shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. Bible.
In this world, we are influenced by two sentiments, joy and pain. Joy gives us wings. In times of joy, our strength is more vital, our intellect keener, our understanding less clouded. We seem better able to cope with the world and to find our sphere of usefulness. But when sadness visits us, we become weak, our strength leaves us. Our comprehension is dim and our intelligence veiled. There is no human being untouched by these two influences, but all the sorrow and the grief that exists comes from the world of matter. The spiritual world bestows only the joy. You see all around you proofs of the inadequacy of material things, how joy, comfort, peace, and consolation are not to be found in the transitory things of the world. Is it not then foolishness to refuse to seek these treasures where they may be found? The doors of the spiritual kingdom are open to all, and without is obvious darkness. Abdul Baha, Paris Talks.
Those who believe and whose hearts find contentment in the remembrance of Allah, for without doubt, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find contentment. Quran. Whosoever does right, whether male or female, and is a believer, we shall make them live a good life, and we shall pay them a recompense in proportion to the best of what they used to do. Quran. On the day when it shall come, no soul shall speak except with his permission. Then some of them shall be unhappy and others happy. Those who are wretched shall be in the fire. There will be for them therein nothing but the heaving of sighs and sobs. Abiding therein so long as the heavens and the earth endure, except as your Lord please. Surely your Lord is the mighty doer of what he intends. And as to those who are made happy, they shall be in the garden, abiding in it as long as the heavens and the earth endure, except as your Lord please. A gift which shall never be cut off. Quran.
Observe my commandments for the love of my beauty. Happy is the lover that hath inhaled the divine fragrance of his best beloved from this world, laden with the perfume of a grace which no tongue can describe. Baha'u'llah. In the Bayan, no act of service is nearer unto his acceptance than bringing joy to the hearts of the believers, and none more remote than inflict sorrow upon them. The Bab. Happy is the man that hath apprehended the purpose of God in whatever he hath revealed from the heaven of his will, that pervaded all created things. Baha'u'llah. Gleanings from the writings of Baha'u'llah.
When a man turns his face to God, he finds sunshine everywhere. Abdul Baha Haris talks. If we are not happy and joyous at this season, for what other season shall we wait? And for what other time shall we look? Be calm, be strong, be grateful, and become a lamp full of light, that the darkness of sorrows be annihilated, and the sun of everlasting joy arise from the dawning place of heart and soul, shining brightly. Abdul Baha, Tablets of Abdul Baha. Son of a Spirit, ask not of me that which we desire not for thee. Then be content with what we have ordained for thy sake. For this is that which profiteth thee, if therewith thou doest content thyself. Baha'u'llah, Arabic hidden words. The next one is a prayer chant by Ali Yusufi, and the text is from Abdul Baha, the prayer is from Abdul Baha.
Gather all people beneath the shadow of thy bounty, and cause them to unite in harmony, so that they may become as the rays of one sun, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree. Gather all people beneath the shadow of thy bounty, and cause them to unite in harmony, so that they may become as the rays of one sun, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree. وارد کن و جمیع را متفق فرما. Cause them to unite in harmony, so that they may become as the rays of one sun, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree, as the waves of one ocean, as the fruit of one tree, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree.
Can you move that slide to the further down, please, Ahmad?
You can't see it?
Like we've done the acknowledgement.
But we normally do a second acknowledgement. Okay. We just I'll just go to a section that you could read and introduce our speaker.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Anyway, that was beautiful music and really expresses, you know, our intention for meeting each Thursday night, you know, to come into that harmony. So that was beautiful. So tonight we are welcoming a very special guest from Moscow, a distinguished scholar, Dr. Reihaniyyih Kassimova, and I'm sorry that I probably not pronounced that very well, so I'm really sincerely sorry. He's a third generation Baha'i, starting from the time of Abdu'l-Baha, who we heard a lot about last week in the video, the successor of Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith. Reihaniyyih is a mother of 4 children and resides in Russia. Her professional interests are the origin and search of diamondiferous rocks, gemology, synthesized semiconductors, petroleum searching, and other similar fields. She is an expert in this, and she's a professor at Moscow State University and a member of the Russian State Geology and Exploration University. She is the author of 40 scientific works and the fairy tale, Flute. So we all welcome you, Dr. Kassimova, and she's going to talk about what is happiness. So thank you very much, and we really give you a very sincere, warm welcome.
Okay, I'll start, share my screen, and if you like, Reihaniyyih, if you'd like to have a presentation, if you have a presentation, you can share.
Нашел, дальше. Все? Как сюда ставить? Вот это? Сохранить?
Reihaniyyih, you're muted.
Yes, one moment. We are trying to presentation to put it on the share on the screen. It's okay now.
Do you have a slideshow, or you'll be seeing a white screen?
Slideshow.
I
It's
think
okay.
no, we have just a white screen. Maybe you have to select when you do a.
1 minute. Yes, we are doing it again.
Yeah, you have to select. You're selecting something else than your slideshow.
Unless you get a draw on that.
Are you going to draw for us, or do you have a presentation, a slideshow?
No. You don't see this the presentation. We are trying to. 1 minute. Okay.
If that's okay.
Now it's okay.
Not yet.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Happiness is. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At least at last.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Подождите. Еще раз. Вот сюда нажимать. Это. Ага, все. Okay. Okay. Hello, hi everybody. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. I think this is the bad my situation with my computer.
Reihaniyyih, not everyone here are Baha'is. There are friends of Baha'i faith as well.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, let's begin. You know, in many times in our life, all of our interests are very close with this word happens. And everybody in our common life, when you ask somebody, they always say, happy. What is it? At least at last. And something bad with my computer, yeah. And the great son of our founder of our Baha'i faith, Abdul Baha, which some selections of his writings we just read, before beginning of this, at the beginning of this meeting. Always when he met with a person, he always asked him, "Are you happy? Are you happy?" Or at the end, "Are you happy?" And in my life, I understand that we, all of us, very, very worried about this, and it is very important. I chose for my presentation writings by Abdul Baha, and exactly his book by the name The Secret of Divine Civilization. I just will read one quotations, and maybe I will explain, maybe or not explain, but let's see, just to begin this conversation, at least at last. Yeah. Happy the soul that shall forget his own good, and like the chosen ones of God, with his fellows in service to the good of all. We read it at the beginning, but it is very nice that we are common in our ideas. The person who chose the quotations for the beginning at the meeting, and I to put this quotation at the beginning of this talk. And it is for me, it is very important quotation, which shows for us, ordinary people, to where we must look first, to where we must focus our brains, our thoughts, our doings, and our actions. The next is, we should continually be establishing new bases for human happiness and creating and promoting new instrumentalities towards this end. Really, and this is the question. Okay, we understand what is the happiness, was how to be happy, and okay, what we shall do for this. And Abdul Baha gave us the answer: new instrumentalities towards this end. And it is what I found in this book by Abdul Baha. Oh, sorry. The next is, he wrote, we must, you see, he wrote, we must, it is about us, what we must to do to be happy, to make happy our relatives, to make happy our children, our family, our neighbors, our neighborhood, and the city and the country, and all of us. We must now highly resolve to arise and lay hold of all those instrumentalities that promote the peace and well-being and happiness, the knowledge, culture, and industry, the dignity, value, and station of the entire human race. You see, it is not only about our feelings, not only about our situation and places and our actions and so on. It is about every branches of our life. I mean, our life, and at the end, he wrote, of the entire human race. And it is very important in this whole quotation, this is that we are must worried about not only about ourselves, relatives, and our surroundings. Of course, it is the first, yeah, but the main aim of our which we must to do to arise, yeah, and to do is to do all our doings, all our achievements on the base of the entire human race, happiness, well-being, and peace. And this is, for me, it's really very, very important. The next is the primary purpose, you see, the primary purpose, the basic objective is laying down powerful laws and setting up great principles first, then, and institutions second, dealing with every aspect of civilization. Every aspect of civilization is human happiness. That everything what we are doing, what we are and how we live, we must think always about happiness, human happiness. And then he continues, and human happiness consists only, you see, in drawing closer to the threshold of Almighty God. Drawing closer to the threshold of Almighty God first. And in securing the peace and well-being of every individual member. Which individual member? High and low alike of the human race. At first, I was thinking to stop there, and then, after some reflections, I thought that it will be to continue all these quotations to the end. And the end is, and the supreme agencies for accomplishing these two objectives. Which two objectives? Peace, securing the peace and well-being of every individual member. We need supreme agency, yeah, again. And the supreme agencies for accomplishing these two objectives are the excellent qualities with which humanity has been endowed. You see, all of us, high and low, all of us have these excellent qualities. All of us, all humanity has these excellent qualities which we have been endowed, that we can use for these supreme agencies, for this that we can do, and not that we have these from heaven, all of us, and we are not only must, not only can be happy, but we must be happy. The next one is, and now we want to know what other tools to be happy. The divine religions, the holy precepts, the heavenly teachings are the unassailable basis of human happiness. You see, the unassailable basis of human base. Thank you. Unassailable basis of human happiness is the divine religions, the holy precepts, the heavenly teachings. Yeah. And that the peoples of the world can hope for no real relief or deliverance without this one great remedy. If just we reflect on upon this quotation a little bit deeply, and we can have a one thought, very great thought from this, that's one great remedy for the of human basis, or of human happiness, I'm sorry. One great remedy for human happiness is the divine religions, the holy precepts, the heavenly teachings. And this is the only basis for the human happiness. It is really very, very simple and very deep. And for me, it is very genius. And the next quotation, before previous quotations is connected to the individuals and human race, yeah, humanity. And these quotations a little bit focused on the social, on the public opinions, on the government or the states. Just let's read it. And this quotation I will read all. Public opinion must be, again, you see, not can be, no should be, no will be, no, must be directed. Public opinion must be directed toward whatever is worthy of this day. And this is impossible except through the use of adequate arguments, and the adducing of clear, comprehensive, and conclusive proofs. For the helpless masses know nothing of the world, and while there is no doubt that they seek and long for their own happiness, yet ignorance, like a heavy veil, shuts them away from it. And this is another tool or direction where Abdul Baha wants to focus us: ignorance. If you want to be happy, you must be educated. If you want to be happy, you must educate your surroundings. If you want to be happy, you must spend your life to get lack of ignorance, not only you and all your surroundings, and as much as possible in all white. And it is, if it is possible, and if God gave you this opportunity, all white society, because ignorance, it is a heavy veil which shuts us, all of us, from our happiness. You see, and this is we must carry out in our shoulders, to our life, to all the peoples who connect with us, because public opinion must be directed. The next one. And this is about civilization. You know, my son was passing exams in university on philosophy, and so much philosophers always was dealt with this term, what civilization means. They give the determination of this word, and different opinions, different ideas, and still it is still what is the true civilization. And we just look what Abdul Baha give us some direction for this, for our philosophic, because our brain is always working as not only stomach wants food, but our brains too wants food and wants action, wants training, yeah, and the action of our brains and our it's its philosophic ideas, its philosophic thoughts, reflections which we got. Let's read. Through civilization will unfurl its banner in the midmost heart of the world whenever a certain number of its distinguished and high-minded sovereigns. Yeah, distinguished and high-minded sovereigns. That's all what we need, all of us. The shining exemplars of devotion and determination shall, for the good and happiness of all mankind, you see, for the good and happiness of all mankind, arise with firm resolve and clear vision to establish the cause of universal peace. Yeah, again, another point, yeah, to establish the cause of universal peace. Just a little bit reflect on this, but I go forward. There are two mighty banners. There are two mighty banners, which, when they cast their shadow across the crown of any king, will cause the influence of his government quickly and easily, just quickly and easily, to penetrate the whole earth, even as if it were the light of the sun. You see, the light of the sun. And what are these two mighty banners? The first of these two banners is wisdom. The second is justice. A little bit, you reflect on both of these two quotations, and I will give you some ideas which I got from the Baha'i writings, of course. And what is the wisdom and what is the justice? Every person, every individual, every government, every country has its own wisdom, its own justice. In Baha'i writings, we can find wisdom is action. Wisdom is action. And justice, what is justice? For me, when I noticed it in the writings, I was really have another tool to help to people, because I'm working in the universities, and of course sometimes professors have their own opinion what is the right and what is the justice. And some, as a mother and as the professor, some students and masters sometimes come to me, ask for help to pass some exams and other things. And always when I enter to the person, which authority person who can solve this problem to help the student or master to pass his difficulties, I use the word charity, not charity, but kindness and other. It was very important for me. And once it happens, when I entered, I want to help one girl, one student. I entered the dean chair. I just entered and he shouted, no kindness, no charity, no understanding, nothing. Just justice. I stopped. Okay, this person wants justice. And what is the justice? From that time, I was searching and I find it in the writings. Justice in the holy writings is you don't want to another person, or you don't do the another person what you don't want, the others will do for you. Another interpretation of this, justice is to do the person, to another individual, what you want that anybody will do for you. And this is the golden rule of all the religions. If you open, you can find in close to this, about this. And everybody, I think, knows these golden rules in all religions. And this is the justice, what means justice. Another thing about what is the very important in this theme, in this topic of happiness, is obedient to the commandments of his Lord. I want to make a title of this: obedient to the commandments of this Lord, of his Lord. A small title for this happiness is, and the small title is obedient to the commandments of his Lord. And it is certain, and it is the explanation which Abdul Baha gave us, it is certain that man's highest distinction is to be lowly before and obedient to his God. That his greatest glory, his most exalted rank and honor depend on his close observance of the divine commands and prohibitions. You see, you want to be happy, just open your holy writings to know commands and prohibitions in your holy writings and observe them. That's all. And it gives you exalted rank, honor, peace, and happiness. And then another quotation, it's really something incredible and amazing. Religion is the light of the world. You see, religion is the light of the world. And the progress, achievement, and happiness of man result from obedience to the laws set down in the holy books. That's all, nothing more. Yeah, I'm very expressed by this quotation. That's yeah. And then you see another quotation coming. Briefly, it is demonstrable that in this life, both outwardly and inwardly, the mightiest of structures, the most solidly established, the most enduring, standing guard over the world, assuring both the spiritual and the material perfections of mankind. You see, both the spiritual and the material perfections of mankind, and protecting the happiness and civilization of society is religion. Don't go fool around. Don't search anything. It's just a religion. Protecting the happiness and civilization of society. The next is the divine religions, the holy precepts, the heavenly teachings are the unassailable basis of human happiness, and that the peoples of the world can hope for no real relief or deliverance without this one great remedy. That's all. A remedy is divine religions, the holy precepts, the heavenly teachings. Yeah. I again repeat this because it is, for me, it's very important quotation in whole of this. We should continually be establishing new bases for human happiness and creating and promoting new instrumentality towards this end. And I want to end my presentation with the last quotation from this book by Abdul Baha. I really opened this book for me just recently. Supreme happiness is man's, and he beholds the signs of God in the world and in the human soul. You see, both in the world and in the human soul. If he urges on the steed of high endeavor in the arena of civilization and justice. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you to be with me today. And I hope you got some reflections for yourself, for your relatives, for your families, neighbors, neighborhood, countries, for your work, for your job, for your researches. New directions, new ideas, new thoughts, no threshold thoughts. And you will be always happy and joy, as Abdul Baha said, that anybody looks for your face should be happy and joy too. It is in my, I tried to memorize this quotation, but it's close to this which Abdul Baha told us. And please be happy and joy. Yeah, that anybody looks at us and be happy and joy too. And it is very, very important, especially in this time. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You certainly can feel your passion and conviction that you have, really, you're working to apply this in your own life. You can feel that as you read them and you speak of it. So thank you. So if you wouldn't mind stopping your screen
I'm trying
sharing,
to do this. Yeah.
then we can be a gallery, and then invite anybody who would like to ask a question or go deeper, if they could please use the reaction button at the bottom to, put raise hand, like I've just done it. If you could use that, because it's hard to see everybody, but if you use that, then you go on the top of the queue, and your question or comment can be more easily asked of Rihanna. So, thank you very much. So does anybody wish to ask a question or go deeper on our presentation tonight?
Я тогда могу.
I think she's trying to close the screen.
Ahmed, if you try to share, then you close it, then it will go off.
Oh, okay.
We tried to take it off.
Okay, no problem. It's Ahmed did it.
Now it's okay?
Yes,
Yes.
it's fine. Your
My youngest son,
your
my
picture
youngest son is helping to me.
But we lost your
radiant sun.
Thank you. Yeah.
But we've lost your picture, so it's kind of.
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
All right. Yungu, did you like to say something?
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much. Spasiba. Spasiba, Dr. Kassimova. Just want to let you know that I've been practicing to write the character in the Russian characters. With the French and English, we have alphabet, but Russian character is a bit different. So I've been writing the Russian character there, and it's very interesting. I read your history. I think you have done very important job that, you know, because I studied Russian history, economic and politics, and how do you say the past of Russian revolutions. And at the moment, I'm very happy to hear from you who done a lot of materialistic work, just like searching for oil, gas, gemology, diamonds, all these things that obviously very important and contribute to the well-being of human being, and one of the factors that make people happy. But the most important,
especially gems for ladies, yes.
Diamonds is a girl best friend. And you know what? The most important thing that we need to share all these resources for all other countries, for all other human beings, to be like to make everybody happy. Just like the Russian music. The Russian music.
Экран отключился, но остальное видно, что ты ходишь. I'm sorry, you have a question?
I'm just saying that just like the Russian music are very, very nice and influential, just like the night in Moscow, Dr. Zhivago, and that's some of the songs that we sing when we were young. And what I'm asking is, you do any joint venture with other major nations when you try to look for oil and petroleum or diamonds or gems? Because I know Russian people, they do their own things, just like space flight, Sputniks, space explorer, you know, people doing conquer space. So they done everything their own thing. But with your project, when you're working with Harvard University or Oxford and Cambridge University or Australian University to do joint projects and all the things that you've done?
It's my dream. Yes, I want to do this, not yet, but we have connection with Canadian geologists, with Australian geologists, because the part which is my first one is diamond ferrous rocks. Of course, we are connected with all the geologists whole the world, and they use my ideas, my implementation to search the diamonds. And we try to be in contact with them, of course.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, this call is coming. This is what with gems. And of course, for me as Baha'i, it is very important not to work for the war. I don't want that they use, I don't want that my scientific researches will be used for the weapons, for the wars and other aims, and this is for me, it is important, And what in connection of oil, just because I did it after graduated from university, and this year it happened, they invited me, and it is just my idea, because there is another book of by Abdul Baha, some answered questions. And at the beginning, at the end of the beginning, he wrote that the universe is ruled by one law. And you know, in our geology, still we are searching how these diamonds come out, how the origin and oil and gas and everything. And then we have five ideas on the origins, and they differ each other, and still they're arguing with each other. But my idea, and I hope God helped me to publish it, is that the origin is the same. And because nature is ruled by one law, it means that the origin where you can find diamonds, a little bit near, you can find oil and gas, and opposite. And it is in whole world. And origin is it is a little bit close, because it is not this, it is scientific ideas. I'm not sharing it with you now, but it is really, if we have followed this idea, we can at least at last come to one equal and unite idea about origin of not only diamond, oil and gas and other minerals too. And it is very important for us. In case in Russia, yes, it is, you know, it is a big, very, it is not, it is the biggest country in the world, yeah. And in Baha'i writings, as Shoghi Effendi, it is the grandson of Baha'u'llah here in 1933, he wrote that the Russia will be the blessed paradise in future. You see, in 1933, Shoghi Effendi wrote this, and when my grandparents got this quotation at that time, this letter, it is not quotation, this letter from Shoghi Effendi, they got it in the 1937 plus years, and it was a really very, very bad situation at Russia. It was the previous USSR. At that time, many people was arrested because only my grandfather was arrested because just his trust in God, and he's Baha'i, and all the 9 persons of spiritual assembly was arrested at that time. And not only and many other people, Christian, Jewish backgrounds and others. And they just find the reason. It is very easy. At that time, it was very easy to find the reason to arrest people and to kill them. And now it is open, and we can say about this that the amount of lost people which lost Russia or all USSR at the time, a little bit closer than at the Second World War. The same amount, close to this amount, yeah. And this is very, very was bad time, but this letter, which they got, it gave them hope, and they tried to leave in any case, yeah. But now we hope that Russia, I'm originally from Azerbaijan, from Baku. Yeah, in Russia I came because I was sent here to study in Moscow State University at 16 years. Yeah, and I'm about more than 40 years in Russia, in Moscow city. Yeah, and as I look for this country during these 40 years, this 16 years, and now 58 years I am, yeah, it is really change, and it changes only for the positive, and changes. It's very. It really brings a little bit happiness and joy to the citizens. Of course, because of this background, many citizens still greed in sorrow and thinking that some very bad things, very bad country, and no. But I moved. I have this opportunity to move whole world. You know, these bad things, this structure, bad forms, which don't help us people to be happy. It is not only in Russia, it is in many, many other countries. It is really in many states and countries. It just, as I read recently in writings, it's a structure formed in whole world society. And for this, really, we must hard work as Baha'is, as individuals, as people, as believers, as just human beings who want that their children, their grandsons, and so on, have a nice life and happy life, enjoy life. We need hard work to this, to remove these structural bad forms in all our society, because Earth is one country, and we are all the citizens of this Earth. Yeah, we must look not only I am and my country. We must look for all human race, for all humanity, and for all Earth. Yeah, and this is what I got from the. At this age, at least at last.
That's beautiful.
I'm sorry that I was so long. The questions was so long and I was so long. Are you satisfied?
No, it's wonderful.
I'm from
Wonderful.
Vietnam anyways. Spasiba. Thank you very much for your help.
Siva, would you like to ask something?
Yes. First of all, I should thank Reihaniyyih for accepting to come and talk, and also to be present here, and I also thank Ahmed to help me out, because I had a minor accident and not fully recovered, and also thank Tracy to be the MC today. I was going to ask one question, then from your reply, I have another question. So I hope Ahmed will allow me to ask the first question now and maybe give you a chance later on. My question was that in your talk about happiness, ultimately, you mentioned that we had to go to religion. The religion is the one that is going to give the happiness. Now, in the world, there are friends who are not following any religion at all.
Yes.
And also there are many religions. So the question is, what about those people who are not having any religion? And what about those people who have different religions? Which religion?
Mm-hmm. I will answer for like this. In connection of which religion, you see Abdul Baha doesn't say anything. He just writes divine religions, divine religions, yeah, in plural forms, not in single. It means no difference. Just it must be really divine, and it must be without prejudice, without fanatic, and without false interpretations, false human interpretations. That's all. Yeah, this is important. Yeah, just as no. Because all the divine religions are from one God. And all of them saying the same. If deeply look, any person deeply look, deeply read all these holy writings, there are no difference between them. And you see in all quotations which I used, only divine religions, holy writings, again plural, no difference, without mentioned distinguish of one of them. Yeah. In case of the person who are not in trust of God, what shall we do? Nothing. Let him search it by himself. Let him did his investigation by himself. It's my opinion, but now I'm telling my opinion. For that person, I'm looking like a child who doesn't know who is his parents. The child who doesn't know who is his father. And he's searching, who is the father? Or somebody tell him, your father is God. But he said, no, I don't trust that he's my father. It's up to him and up to God. Because this is really between this person and God. And it is not, it is not a very rough connection. It's not our business. Yeah, but just to make a little bit, yeah. But I look for, it's my opinion again, I look for this person, that this person that is searching for his father still don't believe that this is his father. Just go and take his hand and take his precepts for you and use it. Don't be stupid, don't fool around, don't spend, because life is very short. And don't spend for your life for searching so much. Really, it is good, but it's better if somebody tell you that your father is God. Why you don't trust him? Okay, take any book, any divine writings, any holy writings, read them, and try and reflect on them. And I'm sure that this person, at least at last, will find God, will understand that the creator of whole world, not only of him, but whole world is God. And he is our Father. And we should trust to our Father, because our Father wants us to be happy on this realm, on the earth, not only when we are dying.
Do you want to ask your second question?
Yes, which is the second question? Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, the second question is, when you were answering to Jung, you mentioned that about the resources, everything, the origin is one, and you said that and the whole nature has one law. And what
is ruled? Not is one law. It is ruled. Not me say. Abdul Baha, in his book, Some Answered Question, at the introduction of this, at the end, wrote that the nature is ruled by one law, ruled.
Oh, one rule. Okay, so what is that one law?
Oh, very nice question, really. Thank you for the question. Yeah, what is this one law? Oh, great. Really, I never think about this, because I just used this quotation during my presentation of my scientific presentation, when I give the scientific report on symposiums, international congresses, and conferences. And when I giving this scientific, it is understandable which law, because I just give you a small example. Yeah, I'm giving, it is a very maybe narrow example, but it gives you answer. As I'm searching diamonds, and diamonds we can find in different areas of Earth, yeah, and they are different. Each diamond is different. Each grain of diamond is different. And my main scientific research is upon the qualities, physical and chemical qualities of mineral, which you can find with diamond upon on this, not diamond, upon mineral, which is like a Sputnik, yeah, Sputnik to this, to diamond, make conclusion, is there diamond or not in this area or this district or this cage? Is it big or small, and amount is much or less? Yeah, I'm sorry, there is telephone call. And the amount of this diamond in this pipe is much or less. And of course, I'm giving this, when I'm giving this data, because each region, each pipe have its different physical, chemical, and geological characteristics. But if we are look just a little bit, just go higher and look higher, and using this quotation, which give Abdul Baha, we understand that it is only one law at that time, and it helps us geologists to understand that this is another quotation of Baha'u'llah, in Baha'u'llah writings, that unity in diversity, because there is one law and there is unity in diversity. Both of these, if we are take one hand, unity in diversity by Baha'u'llah, and another hand, the nature is ruled by one law. Which law? By law? I'm coming from this, yeah? We can understand all these thousands, really thousands data which we got by our investigation, chemical, physical, electronic, and X-rays, and electron, and others, infrared, and others. And this is now coming which law? Law is putting for the nature by God, yeah? And this law is divine law. Divine law, and if we go very, very close, and we can find it not only in the minerals, diamonds, geologies, but really, if you look at the human being, the same. We can find the law. You just look for the cell, yeah? If we took human body cell, look at this under microscope. If we took a structure of crystal, mineral, and rock, or just go bigger, a little bit, we look for the structure of whole universe. And it is the same. We have core, we have surroundings, and we have another atoms on spheres and other things. Yeah, it is really the same. And to make a little bit another example, there is Azerbaijani food, and the Persian, I think, to have it too. I'm not sure, but Azerbaijanis had it by the name dovga. And you know, in Azerbaijan, if girls can do this food, it means that she's perfect cooker. She's good housekeeper, because it's really mostly you can about 1 hour just stir like in English it's like yogurt with water, water, eggs, and salt, I think so, yeah, salt. You can stir it on the gas stove about 1 hour. And if you a little bit stopped, nothing, this soup will not be happened, will not be prepared. And this is the problem, you know, it is very difficult. Yeah.
And when I was trying to teach this to my daughter, I go to my friend of mine, lady, who is very perfect cook in Azerbaijani food, and ask you ingredients, what to do, how to do, to be that it will be happened, this food, this delicious, really delicious food. And I ask, and my daughter and me, and ask her, in what direction should we stir this? Up to clock or opposite clock? And this lady told me up to clock. Then sometimes I go to a friend of mine who was studying with me in the university at the same group. He's a geologist, he's a professor, mineralogist, he's very professional. And I just, he's Azerbaijan, he's man. And I ask him, please, you prepared this food of God. In which direction we must make this, stir this soup? Up to clock or opposite the clock? He said opposite. And I understand there is two opinions, and what is the right? Up, upon or opposite? And because I'm scientific lady, you see, for everybody is very simple, no difference. They're doing it and eat this food. But I'm scientific, and for me, it is the problem. Yeah. And I was searching. One day, I find the answer for this question. Rotation of Earth. And how I come to this. I just open the tap and I understand that the water from the tap is going from anywhere I open the crane, and anywhere I open this tap, it's always rotate opposite the clock. And I was thinking, why water is anywhere like this? And then I opened these books and I understand. If we look for the Earth's rotation, for the rotation of other planets, rotation Earth around its axis, a rotation Earth around the sun, you see how God created. Everything is created opposite clock at the same direction. Everything is rotate. Earth around its axis, Earth around sun, all the planets around sun, around themselves, and everything, and all the universe, you see, it's like this. And I understand it's better to make it opposite. And I notice that this, my homework, scientific research result, I use it not only for Dora, because in Russia we like kasha, it's porridge. We make it from the semolina and others, yeah? And when I did it with upon the clock, it comes sometimes with drops and not so common. But if I do it opposite the clock, it's always perfect. Are you happy with this answer, Mr. Siva?
Thank you. Closer. Thank you.
Siva, I think that law, that single law, is the law of attraction, spiritual and physical attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sora, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I want to say that, and I really thank you for this comment. Yeah, I want to end for this. This is the law of physical attraction. Yeah. And this is, I use the third example when I heard about this law, that's coming to this law of this physical attraction. Again, because my specialization, very narrow specialization, is crystal growth. And in crystal grow, they too have different ideas how this crystal grow. And they don't know what of man is free ideas, free theories for this crystal grow. And they when they taught us, they said we have three theories of crystal grow. Which one is right? Nobody knows, but we know because of this. We know of this because in some answered question, Abdul Baha told us this physical attraction, and I understand that that theory in crystal grow, which based on attraction, crystal attraction, yeah, between the atoms and molecules and others, it is right. The others is artificial.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. I was really happy, and I just, my question was actually the same as Siva asked the question I was asking about religion, but I wanted to thank you for your enthusiasm and zeal for life and future. That brought a lot of happiness to our gatherings, and I feel very happy. I could see somebody as a scientist to be so happy about everything, and you explain Abdul Baha's writing so well and explain it. I just know my question was the same about which religion is going to give the light to the humanity, but you said it very well that all of them, because of divine.
Thank you for support my answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Nisha, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, hello, Doctor.
Hello.
I am so mesmerized by your happiness that you've projected in this teaching. I've actually completely forgotten what I want to ask you, what I wanted to say actually. But anyway, maybe it's not a question, but just like a few comments and we can discuss this. I think today we had looked at happiness in such an in-depth manner, because in our day-to-day life, when we talk about happiness, or when somebody asks you, are you happy? It's merely this definition of, are you feeling joy? Are you feeling contentment? So it kind of stops at that very superficial level of feeling. And how one describes happiness, I don't know if you actually need like a valid way of describing happiness, because happiness might mean very different things to different people, and it's how you use that happiness, how you practice that happiness. Because happiness means what do you call that, like you practice in such a way that like happiness can be good for health, happiness can be good for relationship, happiness can make people more generous, happiness can make people cope better with stress maybe. Happiness might even make people be more productive at work. Happiness might even make people see things from a bigger picture. So there's so many ways we can use happiness, and so that takes me to, how the world has created this happiness index. I'm sure you've heard of this happiness index, where it's basically just a scale of 0 to 10 and how happy you are. 0 means no happiness and 10 is maximum happiness.
Yeah.
And that defines like the happiest countries in the world. So for example, like, I think the Danish and the Swedes, or the Danish and the Finnish have always topped, and Norwegians have always topped.
Most of them Finnish. Finland.
Finland. And they've always topped this happiness scoring. And when I actually kind of looked into depth to see what is it that they ask in order to define happiness, what makes this countries as a happy nation, like, then I was disappointed when I found out that it was a merely scale that is graded from 0 to 10. Are you happy? Are you quite happy? Are you mildly happy? Are you severely happy? Are you very, very happy? And it's so superficial. But then there's a small little country called Bhutan who then defines the happiness index very differently, because they actually use the happiness index as instead of a GDP, they use it as a gross national happiness, because they didn't want to define happiness merely based on a scale of 0 to 10, but they wanted to step that happiness up to something that is sustainable, you know? So if I may actually kind of probably quote what that, because I kind of forgot, but I had to refer to it. So they looked at 9 different domains in order for them to actually define this gross national happiness. So this one included things like living standard, health, education, ecological diversity, cultural diversity, community vitality, time use, psychological well-being, and good governance. So it gives the definition of happiness index a complete change, a complete different direction, you know? And I think this is what we should be looking into when we are defining happiness in nation, not just about how you feel as a person, because I think that is merely defined by material well-being, material acquisition, which then probably defines the happiness. But when you kind of look at it from a you know, when you know, like a microcosm of things, then you realize, wow, there is more things that should actually define the happiness of a nation or a community or a neighborhood or whatever it is. And yeah, and I think, like, you know, if all the nations changed, you know, they defined the happiness of their nations not based on GDP, but actually the GNH, which is gross national happiness, maybe we would all be looking at, like, you know, we will all assess the nation's wealth very differently. So that was one point that I wanted to make. And yeah, and maybe before I go to my second point, if there's something that you'd like to share on this point.
Yeah,
let me make it shorter.
Yeah, shorter for this first point. Yeah, you are right, of course. And it is really, you know, this is my second presentation on this topic of happiness. First presentation about happiness, I was given only 15 minutes. And I just, at that presentation, I gave different persons, different individuals' opinions, what is the happiness for them. And of course, at the end, I give the quotation from the Abdul Baha and Baha'u'llah, what is the real happiness, yeah? Yeah, this time for this presentation, I didn't mention others' opinion. I didn't give them ideas of the others. I just mentioned that everybody, 6 million people, 6 million peoples in the world, everyone has its own opinion. And first, if you just would, maybe, I don't know how it's in Australia, but in Russia, when you meet, when they look at the lady, for lady, just only one happiness is just to be married. If lady is married and has husband, she's happy. If not, she's not happy. It is impossible to be happy without husband in Russia. Yeah, it's really still like this. It's all tradition. Yeah, but it's still, yeah. Of course, it is very important for lady to have husband, to be loved and loved by herself. Yeah. Of course, no problem. It is a little bit different type of happiness, yeah. But if the lady, let's take this example, bad example, but it's really common example. Lady without husband, with children, nobody loves her, yeah. But if the lady based her life on the spirituality, if this lady based her actions and her all her homework, all her job, on based on the divine religions, on the precepts and precincts of the holy writings, this lady will be happy, no matter is the man near her or not. You guys, you just trust me, yeah? Yeah, this is really my practical result of my life. Yeah, and this is, all these lines, all these nations, happy nations and things, really, I will give for this another example from the life of Abdul Baha. He was arrested when he was 9 years old. He was released from a cage approximately, I think, if I'm right, 78 years old. About 40 years, Abdul Baha was arrested in the cage in the prison. When at last he was released, first question by journalists to him was, are you happy now to have this liberty? And he said, liberty, it is not the place, you see, and the happiness at the fall, he said, it is not the place where you are. It is the answers by Abdul Baha. It means us, for human beings, that our happiness, I know so many people, if the how to say, materialistic things will be calculated in these social, what you say, lines and everything, they will be the most happiest people. But I recently, after lockdown, I just have this, I want to have a little bit, go out of these bad thoughts. I was going and look for the flats and houses in the Moscow region for sale. And once this younger son said me, oh, you know, there is, I have opportunity that we can go for the best place in the Moscow. I said, what is the place? It is in Manford. Oh, what is it? You know, it is the only one building which was created by worldwide famous architect Zada Zahid, Zahid, something like this. She's a very famous from United Kingdom architect, Zaha Hadid. Oh, Zaha Hadid, yeah. And he told me this is only one building which she make for not for state, but only for human, as home for the only one family. And this is the famous. I said, let's go and look for this famous building. Because it was paid by our oligarch Doronin, and it is for his, at that time, wife, very famous model, Naomi Campbell, as the gift for their marriage. We went and saw for this building. Really, it is perfect. Really, it is amazing. Really, they used everything which is the best in the world in this building. But nobody lived there. No one day lived there. Nobody, no Daroni, no his wife, no their children. And they sell it. And still it needs some construction, repainting, and so on. The question not in this. My point of view is that when I was walking in this building, I was thinking, oh, how it will be good if we will have it for our classes, for our Ruhi classes, for our Baha'i camps, for our summer schools, for our winter schools. Here it is for food, here it is for concerts. I was understanding and it will, and I understand it will be give the life of this building, and this building is standing alive without purpose. And at the end, when I come to home, I just open this internet and look for what is the happened with this Daronin and Naomi Campbell. And internet, I read, I'm sorry, that they divorced and they now in very big these divorces problems and fighting for each building and for money. And it is okay. And I understand all divorces have these problems. But what was very, very surprised to me when I read that the oligarch Daronin presented or sell dresses of Naomi Campbell, and she's fighting for her dresses, for her folks with these oligarchs. I said, oh my God, how both of them are rich, both of them, because if you look for this building, you understand how they are rich. Yeah. But, and of course, they maybe have this love between them. But because the base, all the base of all the relations, without spirituality, without religions, without divine, maybe something, things which I understand. You see, at the end, fighting for the fork, for the dress of wife. It is really something really very, very bad things happens in with the rich. It is means that these qualities and these views, when they use to understand which nations are happy or not, it's really very, very, for my opinion, it's good. It's good that we have at least at last one country, several countries, and this Finland, they're happy. But it will be good that it will be not only Finland and not only Scandinavian countries, but it will be whole world, whole human nations, whole world, as Baha'i told, as Abdul Baha in quotation, which I gave, whole humanity will be happy, because all humanities as one human being. If we look in this book, in Secret, from where I gave quotations, Secret of Divine Civilization, you can find these examples which given by Abdul Baha, and of them is look for the humanity, humankind as one human body, as one human. And from this point of view, create all your stuff. That's why he's telling us new instrumentalities, create new instrumentalities. This is all. And just to make understand, that book was written by Abdul Baha in 1875. And when we read, now we are close, we have our deepenings in Moscow community. When we read this book, everybody understand that we just change the name of countries or change the datas, and it is the same at this time. You see, 1875 and now 2021, it is still the same. And for me, on the page 99, it is he explained about education system, how it is and how it must be, and he gave our instruction. And it's still in Russia, it is we need this, you see, in 1875 and now 2021. And when I noticed this, I understand if I give this book to the Minister of Education, maybe at least there will be peace and calm among the school children, and the parents and teachers and students in the universities.
I hope you do that. God's blessing and speed upon you doing that.
And second one, Nisha, I remind.
So yeah, very, very quickly, Doctor. I mean, like, you know, I absolutely agree with what you have said just now in terms of like, you know, that education and you know, how you want to infuse this spiritual happiness into community and nation as well. So I think you mentioned that two banners earlier, which was the wisdom and justice. And maybe as a gemologist, that is yourself, this quotation might strike a chord with you. This is a quote from the Baha'i Faith as well. And it says, regard man as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable man to benefit therefrom. And I think this is the instrument, education, not just physical education, but spiritual education, in order to, you know, create a nation that is, you know, happy, not only because they are rich in material well-being, but spiritual well-being as well. That is all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, this is quotation first quotation which I used when I was 21 years old. When I just got it, I use it. Yeah, why? Because if you find diamond in nature, it is sometimes it is bad. It is worse. It is worse than simple quartz, simple glass. Yeah. But if you take this diamond to the jeweler and he made cutting, diamond really becomes diamond. It is perfect with shining different lusters, different colors. It gives different colors. And this is cutting, it is the education. It is the lack of ignorance. And it is the upbringing. Spiritual education mostly give us upbringing and education. Spiritual knowledge, spiritual knowledge, first it gives us upbringing and then education. And upbringing is the first and then education. And both of them, upbringing and education, it's really very, very important to lack of ignorance, to lack of this prejudice, fanatism, and many bad things, bad structural forms, what we have in our economic system in whole, in all countries in the world.
Thank you. So Ahmed?
I think we passed 9 o'clock. I don't know whether we want to continue or not, but I don't know if Siva is happy, I can say a few words.
Yes. But I don't know whether Tracy, can you stay longer?
A short time, but if I disappear, you know.
Okay, then okay, don't worry. Okay, continue.
No, I just want to say that recently we had this deepening in our community on Advent of Divine Civilization, Secrets of Divine Civilization, and it was so interesting to hear your talk that was kind of highlighting quotations in there that talks about happiness of humanity. It was so exciting to see these things. And Abdul Baha compares the human society or human civilization into the human body. And he says that if a small part of the body is injured, the whole of the body is in
Yes.
misery. And so we have to look at the society, the human society as a whole, the whole earth, and try to find instruments, as you said, as
But
Abdullah had said, that would bring the humanity into a happiness, a happy civilization. Thank you for your talk.
Thank you that you give me this opportunity and listen my so long replying for the questions.
Okay, I just wanted to comment that about the happiness. I put it on the chat. I hope people would have accessed it. The Universal House of Justice in April, in one letter they wrote, the inner joy that every individual, unlike a passing emotion, it is not contingent on outside influences. It is a condition born of certitude and conscious knowledge, fostered by a pure heart, which is able to distinguish between that which has permanence and that which is superficial. So probably that helps us to understand what is permanent and what is, look for the one that is permanent, and that is what is the true happiness or joy.
Everlasting happiness.
Yeah. And thank you very much, Reihaniyyih, for your talk and your time to come and be with us. And thank you, Ahmed and Tracy, for helping us in this, because I couldn't spend much time on this. If there is no other comments or questions from others, if it is very brief, we can entertain some comments, otherwise we can close.
I hope that everyone would participate in these series of presentations, which brings, a common goal for all of us.
And as a non-Baha'i person, I must say that I appreciate you mentioning religions. I consider myself a multi-faith person. I appreciate the teachings of, Baha'u'llah, and I can see, that unity of humanity, and the fact that you said religions, really is encouraging in that, interfaith and multi-faith work, and the earnest searching for how to be a noble and good person to make humanity, the whole world better, which is something that Sachi is very much, committed to, is that the world has to be, we all become a good people, however we manage to do that. So thank you for contributing to the humanities, unification. That unity and diversity is so important, and that reciprocity,
Yes.
that reciprocity is how the world is lubricated. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Abdullah has used the plural for religions. Really, it's one tree of religion, and the other, all religions are branches of that tree.
Which is wonderful. It's a really good analogy,
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Or somebody is just joining us.
Well, I'm going to admit
and we have I have always like to ask Sachi, because he is a good friend of mine from my country, and he doesn't believe in any religion or God. Do you have any comments, Sachi? But he is a regular participant.
As it is, there are no comments or questions on that because I feel we am completely a little different to the thing. So for happiness, I always say only 4 things. That is, number 1 is ignorance about truth, then the fear, then greediness, then the ego. If all 4 of these are off, we are happy and peaceful. That's the shortcut.
Right.
I appreciated the speech. It was very nice, elaborate, and on your beliefs and all. So thank you very much for the games.
Agree.
Thank you.
Very appreciate. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Could you say the 4 again, please? Such. One was fear, one was ego. What was the other one?
Greed.
Oh, greed. Yeah.
Greed.
But that's
Anyway,
clear.
I'll say thank you and very much.
I think
and,
Bayon wants to say
good night.
I think Bayon wants to say something. Maybe we just hear him as well.
Very brief. Bye.
Very brief.
You have to unmute.
You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. One of the occasion, beloved Abdul Baha in America, he said, laughing is the reflection of spirituality. And also he mentioned the happiness doesn't depend on the material or location. Of course, the dear Dr. Kassimova, she mentioned about that. And I like to thank you, Dr. Kassimova, for your participation in this presentation.
I thought you could pronounce it Kassimov. Is that Kassimov? Dr. Kassimov.
Kassimov, yeah.
Persian friends. Kassimova.
Kassimov. Okay, but I saw the writing is K, starting with K.
Yeah.